How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to ceramic coat a car. So if you want to know how to do that, this is definitely the video for you to watch, because I'm going to be going over the whole process from beginning to end. So let's jump right in. So the whole ceramic coating process can be broken into three different phases. Phase 1 and 2 are both prep phases, and then phase 3 is going to be actually applying the coating to the car. So you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between phase 1 and 2, since they are both prep phases? So phase 1 is going to be where you're going to be doing most of your prep work, so that includes washing the car to get most of the dirt off. After that, we're also going to be claying the car to get rid of all the grit and hopefully water spots that are on the car. Then after that, we're going to be getting rid of some of the swirl marks and scratch marks, and then after that we're going to be polishing it. So that's all included in phase 1. And phase 2 is going to be actually prepping the surface for the coating. So what I mean by that is just getting rid of all of the waxes and sealants that you might have put on the car before doing this, because you do want to have a bare paint surface to apply the coating to, just because that's the best way to do it, and you're kind of sealing in the whole paint surface with this coating. So if there's anything under there that you don't want, then you're going to have to get rid of it in phase 2 by using the surface prep. And then phase 3, of course, is applying the actual coating. And I'm going to be using the Adams Polishes Graphene Ceramic Coating Kit. So let's jump right into the video. Alright guys, so here's all the supplies that we're going to be using to actually go through this whole process. So like I said, phase 1 is going to take the most amount of time. That includes everything from here to the left. So obviously, number 1, we're going to be using the wash and wax to wash the whole car and get rid of most of the dirt, as well as the Eco all-purpose cleaner just to wash the wheels, exhaust tips, and anything else that isn't paint. And then after we wash it, we're going to clay the whole car. This is the Adams Polishes Visco clay bar. I got 2 of these. Now there also is an option to get a geo impression tool just to put the clay over that, and it's supposed to work better, I guess, but I feel like I would rather just hold it in my hand just to be able to feel all the grit a little bit better. Now as lubricant, we're going to be using Adams Polishes detail spray. It's really important to have a well lubricated surface just so you don't leave any scratches in the paint while claying. So we're going to be using that. And then after we clay the car, we're going to be using the scratch and swirl remover with this orange hex pad. So this is just going to be applied by hand. I don't have a machine orbital or anything like that, so we're going to be doing that by hand. After that, we're going to be using the hand polish with the blue hex pad. Then after that, we're going to be on to phase 2, which is using the surface prep that is included in the Adams Polishes Graphene Ceramic Coating Kit. And like I said, using this is just going to get rid of everything on your paint surface, just to give you a bare surface to actually coat. So once we have it perfectly prepped and you're happy with the way it looks, then we can actually apply the ceramic coating, which is this stuff right over here. Now it does look like a pretty small bottle, but this stuff will probably last you for 2 cars, I think. And this is the suede applicator that we're going to be using to actually apply the ceramic coating. So the actual ceramic coating kit came with these 3 bottles right here, these 2 suede applicators, which is what we're going to use to actually apply the ceramic coating. Then it also came with 4 different towels, so 2 of them are these suede towels, and then 2 are just these microfiber towels. And then I also did get the optional UV flashlight. Now this thing could be pretty useful to make sure that you applied the coating in a uniform pattern. So like I said, it's a UV light, and if you shine it on the ceramic coating, you can see it actually does kind of glow. So once the stuff is on the car, we can use this flashlight to see if we missed any spots, so that'll be pretty useful, I think. Now for this ceramic boost stuff, this is made to be used after washing the car. I think it's supposed to be every 2 washes you apply this stuff, just to seal the ceramic coating a little bit better. So I don't think we're going to be using this stuff today. This is just going to be after I wash it in the future. So in total, I did spend about 230 bucks for everything that I'm going to need today. The actual ceramic coating kit itself was about 100 bucks, and I believe that does include the flashlight. If you don't want the flashlight, I think it's $10 or $20 cheaper, so I just went ahead and got it just to make sure I did a better job with spreading the coating out evenly. It's definitely not cheap stuff, but I think it'll be worth it because this new graphene kit is supposed to last 7 years. So yeah, let's see how it does. We can go ahead and start off phase 1 by washing the car. So like I said, we are going to be using Adams Polishes wash and wax to actually wash the paint. and then the Eco All-Purpose Cleaner for like exhaust tips and the trim or anything else that I can't use this for. And we're going to be using the 2-bucket method. So if you aren't familiar with that, it's basically 1 bucket to rinse out your mitt, and then another bucket with clean soapy water. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to actually wash a car in this video, but I do have a really detailed video on how I actually wash a car and the whole process for doing that. So if you want to know how to wash a car in more detail, then I'm going to link that video down in the description. But yeah, this part should be pretty straightforward. Just get as much dirt as possible as you can. Most of your work should be done as early as possible. So like I said, most of your dirt should be coming off in the washing phase. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that you don't want to wash the car in direct sunlight. So you want to pick a cloudy day, or just do it in the evening or early morning whenever the sun is not out. So as you can see, it is a pretty cloudy day today, so it should be a pretty good day to actually wash it, just so it's not in direct sunlight. And the reason for that is because if it is in direct sunlight, it will dry off really quick, and it'll just leave a bunch of watermarks on it, which won't be good for claying it after. Alright guys, so now that we're done actually washing the car, we can go ahead and clay it. So like I said, we're going to be using this Visco clay bar from Adams Polishes. I bought 2 of them just in case. And for the lubrication, we're going to use the detail spray, as you see right here. But it is important to use a good lubricant and a lot of it, because like I said in the beginning, if you don't lubricate it well, then you're probably going to be leaving some scratches in your car, and that's what you don't want, especially right before ceramic coating. So make sure you have a lot of this stuff. Hopefully 1 bottle will be enough for me. Just make sure you're using a good amount of this stuff. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and clay the car. As you see, I have the clay bar and the detail spray right over here, as well as a rag to wipe it off. Now I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but there are a good amount of water spots on this car. And I already clayed this side. As you can see, it is a lot smoother than over here with all the water spots. So what you're going to do is, like I said, take your detail spray, spray a good amount of it on the area that you're going to clay. And it's a good idea to do like little panels at a time, just so it doesn't dry up. And you just want to go back and forth like I am here. And if you have water spots, you might have to use a little bit more pressure on it to get them off. That's what I've noticed, at least, because some of these water spots are really hard to get off. And if you feel like it's beginning to give you some resistance, then you're going to have to spray some more detail spray, just so you don't risk giving your paint any scratches. So, and I mean, if the area that you're claying doesn't have too many water spots or too much grit, then you can just go over it really quickly, just so you don't like risk any scratches on that area. So I'm gonna have to spend a good amount of time on the hood here, just because there are a lot of water spots here, and they are taking a good amount of time to get off. So, but once again, you want to make sure you're doing a perfect job, because if you don't, then these water spots are going to be sealed for 7 years if you're using the graphene ceramic coating like me. So hopefully that's good. Now we can wipe it off and see how we did. Alright, so it is looking pretty good actually. I thought I was gonna have to go over it again, but it seems like we got all the spots off. You want to look at it at many different angles just to see how the light shines on it, because if you're looking at it straight on, then you might not be able to see all the water spots. So that's why you kind of gotta like look at it at an angle. And if you're doing this indoors, you definitely want to make sure that you have a high-powered LED light, because those are probably the best for actually seeing all the water spots and things that you want to get off of your paint. Oh, there's a little spot right over here that I missed. Okay, so if you do miss a spot, quickly go over it, and now I already lost it, so I don't know where it went. Okay, so if you do end up missing a spot, you can just go over it again. See if that works. Now this is going to take a good amount of time to do the whole car, so obviously I'm not going to show you guys the whole thing, but you know the process for how to do it. So just make sure you're using a lot of lubricant sprayed on the paint and the clay bar. If it gives you resistance, then that's how you know you need more lubrication on it. And yeah, if you feel like it's rough, like you can feel like grit under the clay bar, then you want to keep going over that area until it feels smooth. And that's how you know that there's no more grit. And if you're trying to get water spots off, then you just have to look at it, because you're not going to be able to feel those if they're just like this. So that's the process, and I'm going to go ahead and do the whole car. Alrighty guys, so we are all done claying the car. It is a good idea to take a flashlight if you're not in like outside and you don't have good lighting. It is a good idea to take a flashlight and check over everything just to make sure it's all good. Now it should be perfect after claying, but I'll be honest, it's not. So I'm hoping some of this other stuff will come off with the swirl and scratch remover as well as the hand polish. But yeah, just going over here, it does look a lot better. Yeah, so you can tell it's a lot more shiny and glossy, of course. So after you're done claying, we can move on to the scratch and swirl remover. So with this, we're going to be using the orange hex pad here. Then we're also going to need a towel, so I'm just going to be using this one. To use this stuff, you're supposed to put like 2 pea-sized drops on this pad and then spread it evenly over a surface. So we will do that, and you're supposed to like work it in circles. So I'm probably going to try to do like this part right over here. Let's see how this works. Okay, so not too bad. You can definitely tell it's doing something, I guess. So yeah, you're supposed to keep going in circles like this and then buff it with a towel. So we will do that right now. See what it looks like. So using the flashlight, I can definitely tell there are less swirls, but there still are a few. Just got to make sure you buff it out very well, just so you don't like smear it in or leave any streaks or anything. But I'm only going to be using this stuff on the paint, so not the windows or trim or anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and do the whole car and then update you guys whenever I finish that. Alrighty guys, so once we have finished up with the scratch and swirl removal, we can move on to polishing. So I'm just going to be using the hand polish with the blue little hex applier thing. So we're going to be doing it by hand. It's pretty much going to be the same process as the scratch and swirl removal. So just put like 2 pea-sized little drops of this stuff on the applicator, and we're just going to be going side to side and then up and down, covering one panel at a time. So we're going to go up and down as well, just do like a cross pattern. Sounds pretty nice. So once we've finished applying it to the paint, we can use the towel and just buff it out. Now this is going to be the last step of phase 1, so you want to make sure you're doing a pretty good job and make sure that there's no like smudges or anything after you do this, and there's like no smearing or anything. So definitely want to take a good amount of time on this last step of this phase. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm gonna have to finish this up tomorrow because I've been working on this literally all day. I think I started at like 9 a.m. and it's now 7:22. So we will resume this tomorrow. And so tomorrow we're going to be doing phase 2, which is surface prep. And that's going to be the actual like official surface prep that came with the ceramic coating kit, which will like remove any sealants or waxes that are on the paint, just to give like a bare paint coat to put the actual ceramic coating on. So I'm going to go ahead and finish applying this hand polish to all the paint on the whole car. And then, like I said, the next step is we're going to be on phase 2, and that's going to be the surface prep. Alrighty guys, so it is currently the next day and we are done with phase 1. So just as a reminder, phase 1 included a hand wash, claying the whole car, scratch and swirl removal, as well as the hand polish. So I left off with the hand polish, and I've just been going over the car just to make sure there's no smudges or smears or anything. So once you have done all that, then we are ready for phase 2, which is going to be prepping the surface and making it so it's just bare paint. So first, I would like to go over this graphene ceramic coating kit from Advance Polishes, of course. So like I said, this was about, I think it was around $100, and then I did also get the optional UV light. Let's just go ahead and look at this actual ceramic coating kit and see what came with it. So of course we have 4 towels, 2 microfiber, 2 suede, and then we also have the 2 suede applicators. We have some instructions just going over how to actually apply the coating and how to prep it correctly. Here we have the surface prep, which is what we're going to be using for phase 2. And next we have the ceramic boost. So you're only supposed to use this ceramic boost after the ceramic coating has already cured, which should be after 24 hours after applying the coating. So we can go ahead and put this on there after that. Then it also says you can repeat this process after every 3rd or 4th wash to maintain the hydrophobic structure of the ceramic coating. So this ceramic boost will be kind of like a recurring thing, whereas the actual ceramic coating will last you 7 years, or at least that's what they say. So it's nice that they also included this in the kit. So moving on, here's the actual ceramic coating. This is what we're going to be using to actually coat the car, which is what we have these suede applicators for. So we're just going to put a few dots on here and then spread it over the car. And of course, I'm going to show you guys how to do that in more detail when we actually get to that part. And then lastly, we have gloves, because you're supposed to put those on while applying the ceramic coating. So like I said, right now we're going to be doing phase 2, which is surface prep. This is just going to get rid of any kind of sealants or waxes that are on the car already, just to give a bare paint finish for the ceramic coating. Alrighty guys, so we're going to be doing the surface prep right now. So for this, you want to make sure that you've already clayed, polished, and done everything in phase 1 to make the paint and the whole vehicle as clean as possible. Then of course you want it to be fully dried. So to do this, you can either spray this stuff onto the towel or the surface. So I'm probably just going to do the surface. And then you want to wipe it off just like that. Make sure you cover the whole thing, working section by section. So like I said, you just want to go section by section. Don't want to do too much at a time, just so it doesn't dry off too quickly. Now this shouldn't take nearly as long as the claying or scratch and swirl removal, because that took me like all day. Phase 1, like I said, definitely will be the most amount of work. It took me like 10 hours yesterday. I'm now on my 2nd day of this project. Now it does say to cover the entire surface. So I'm assuming that means like the surface we're going to be ceramic coating. So I'm going to do the windows as well. Alright guys, so I've finished up with phase 2 of prepping. A good thing to do is just use a flashlight and go over the whole surface, make sure there's no smudges or anything that you missed. So if you have like a high powered light, I definitely would recommend that over an iPhone light, but this works good enough. So I think we are actually ready to put on the ceramic coating now. I hope I didn't miss any spots here. So after we have checked over the entire car, making sure that there's no smudges or streaks or smears or anything like that, just making sure that it's all perfect, We are now ready to move on to phase 3, which is actually applying the ceramic coating. All right guys, so now that we are done with phase 2 and actually like prepping the whole surface with that surface prep that came with the ceramic coating kit, we are now ready to actually start applying the ceramic coating, which is phase 3 of the whole process. So for this, of course, we're going to need the suede applicator, as well as, of course, the ceramic coating. We also want to have the suede towel handy so we can wipe the ceramic coating off and just level it and make it even. So, of course, we're going to start off. So that's probably as much as I would use. Like I said, you don't need too much, but you also don't want to put too little on here. So that should be good. And we're supposed to work like a 3x3 area. So I'll just take an estimate. So with this, you want to make very even strokes and movements. And you want to go in a cross pattern. So you want to go up and down and then side to side, just to make sure that you have evenly coated the entire surface. And you don't want to rush this process, because if you're going to do one thing perfect and right, then this is definitely the step that you want to like do right. Because if you mess this up, then you're kind of stuck with a mistake for 7 years. So there we go. Just going side to side now and going over the surface that I've already applied just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And once you actually apply the coating, you will see that the surface will kind of start to rainbow. I don't know how easily you guys can see that on camera, but if you get the lighting right, then you can see that it does kind of have a rainbow effect over it. Now you just want to wait, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Just wait until that rainbow disappears or starts to dissipate. And you can take the suede towel and lightly wipe it to level all the oils. Now you want to do a very good job with this, just to make sure you don't leave any smudges or smears or high spots. Because like I said, if you let it cure with those high spots or any smears or anything else, then you're probably going to be left with those for the life of the whole ceramic coating, which in my case is 7 years for the graphene ceramic coating. And then if you did also get the UV light, you can check to see if you missed any spots. You can also see if there are any smudges. So if we come over to this side, you can see right here is the line. This is ceramic coated, this is not. If you guys can see that on the camera right there. So that's why this UV light is a useful tool to have when ceramic coating. Just so you can make sure that you have evenly coated the whole surface and to see if you missed any spots. So there we go, that's probably good. So this stuff can be used on any part of the vehicle. So windows, paint, trim, plastic, vinyl, wheels, pretty much anything. But if you are gonna be coating like plastic, vinyl, or any kind of trim pieces, you actually don't have to level it or wipe it off after you have applied the coating unless it starts to streak. So if you are doing like windows and paint, then you definitely do want to like level it and make sure there's no smears or anything like that after the rainbows dissipate. So for the windows, it is going to be the same process. Just put some of this graphene ceramic coating on the suede applicator. So same process for the windows here. Just doing even movements and make sure I'm covering the whole surface. Alright, so now we can switch to up and down just to make sure we've covered everything and not missed any spots. And it is a good idea to use gloves. They supplied gloves in the kit. Okay, so that should be good. Now we can let it dissipate a little bit, and then we can wipe it off with the suede towel. Another thing I wanted to mention is that you always want to put the cap back on the ceramic coating container, just because if you do leave it open, it can cure like inside the opening right there, and that's what you don't want. So just make sure you always put the cap back on if you are not using it. So now we can go ahead and wipe off this window. Like I said, just getting rid of any like streaks or smears, just so it looks good. I'd say that's pretty good. Now the windows won't show up as well as the paint when you're using the UV light, but you can still kind of see. It's definitely not as easy though, but yeah, it definitely shows up a lot better on the paint. So with the windows, you just have to make sure you're doing a good job. So if you are unsure of where you left off, then you can always use the flashlight to see where it's coated and where it's not. So in my case, I have a little spot right in the middle of the trunk here. If you can see, left side is coated, right side is not. Then over here, right side is coated, left side is not. So this way I can see where I need to coat. And it doesn't hurt to go over like where you already coated, just to make sure that you're getting everything. All right, and that's the whole area. Now we can just wait for the rainbows to go away. And usually while I'm waiting for the rainbows to dissipate, I kind of just like to go over the previous area that I worked on and just keep buffing it and leveling it out to make sure it's all good. And you always want to look at it from an angle and like multiple different angles, because you're not always going to see the smudges if you're just looking straight on. All right, so we can go ahead and wipe this area off. And you will feel some resistance when you're wiping away the area that you just coated when compared to an area that either you coated a while ago or an area that is not coated at all. And again, just look at it from an angle here. And we can get the flashlight and just check our work, make sure it's all good and all covered. Now this flashlight really reveals like any imperfections in your paint. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but right there is like a little scratch. So you can really see that when shining the flashlight. There's some more smudges here. All right, so now we're just gonna repeat the whole process on the whole car. All right guys, so we are done ceramic coating the car. Now all we have to do is keep it inside the garage for 24 hours and let the ceramic coating cure to the car. It's really important to do this. Just make sure you don't drive the car or keep it outside. You definitely want to make sure that it's inside, indoors, away from any kind of elements for 24 hours after you apply the coating, just so it can cure correctly. And like I said, this Adams Polishers graphene ceramic coating is supposed to last about 7 years, which is pretty long for ceramic coating, I think. And after you let it cure, you can use this ceramic boost and coat the whole car with it. You can also use this stuff every 3 to 4 washes just to like maintain the hydrophobic properties of the ceramic coating. So that's going to be it for this video. If you guys have any questions at all, make sure to drop those down in the comments. as well as any video suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the future. If you guys like this video or found it entertaining or informative, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.